Week 13 in college football is underway, and just taking a look at our November recap so far, we're up over $51,000. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into our picks for week 13. So for week 13, we have 8 games that we're going to be picking against the spread, along with a Hail Mary parlay, a safe parlay, and then the parlay lock of the week. So without further ado, starting off with the game of the week, starting off at high noon, it's Indiana versus Ohio State. For this official play, we're going to be taking Ohio State minus 10.5. Some books have it at minus 10. That's where I'm grabbing it right now. I think at minus 115. The Ohio State Buckeyes, I have a lot of similarities with this game and last year's Michigan-Penn State game, where it's going to feel like Ohio State's controlling the game start to finish. The score may be close throughout the game, and Indiana might go up 7-0 to start the game. But really, while you're watching the game, there'll be no doubt that Ohio State's going to win. So we're going to be taking Ohio State minus 10 or 10.5. Really doesn't matter. I think it's going to be a blowout. The next game we're going to be tackling is Boise State minus 22.5 versus Wyoming. If you guys have watched Wyoming, which I feel like most of you have not, then you'll understand Wyoming's run defense is absolutely atrocious. New Mexico ran for 400 yards against Wyoming. 400 yards rushing. That's 13.5 yards per rush that they were averaging. I can guarantee Boise State's run attack is way more potent. And their defense is a lot more solid. So I really don't think there's going to be any problem with this. I'm also going to be taking an Ashley Genty rushing prop over. If you can find the first half rushing prop, I would definitely slam on that because they have been sitting Ashley Genty in the second half on some of their more blowout games. But either way, they're going to absolutely smoke them. For the third game, also a noon game, we're going to be looking at Illinois versus Rutgers. Rutgers is currently favored. This is one of my upset picks of the week. Illinois is ranked number 25. They've been playing really well. I honestly love their quarterback play. There's nothing that stands out in the stat category. I just honestly trust Illinois to come out with a win. So not a whole lot of stats in this. This is just more of a field game for me. It is on the road, which kind of stinks, but I still trust Illinois. Now, the fourth game we're going to be tackling is Alabama versus Oklahoma. This is kind of a matchup between a dead team, a team that wants to go bowling, and then a really good rushing attack with Alabama and Jalen Milroe. So Alabama's favored by 13.5. You can find this line all over the place. It was all the way down to around 10.5 earlier this week, but it's creeping back up. I'm going to be riding with Alabama. Oklahoma, I have no faith in their offense to score any points. I honestly think they'll be held under 17 points. And if you take 17 and add about 13 or so, you're going to be at 30-ish points. That is going to be enough. I think Alabama's going to score well in the 30s and be able to cover this spread. Moving on to the next game, a 7 p.m. Eastern game, neutral site. We have Army versus Notre Dame. Army undefeated, ranked number 19. Notre Dame, 6th ranked, 9-1, only lost in Northern Illinois. This is one of those games, also like Ohio State and Indiana, where I just think Army is going to get out-physicaled. They've been playing really bad teams all year. They have been blowing them out for the most part, but I think that's where this is going to come to an end. 14.5 points is a decent amount, and that hook is kind of annoying, but I don't think Notre Dame's going to have any problem. They versed Navy earlier. I do think Army is slightly better than Navy, but still, I think this is closer to a 21 to 24 point win for Notre Dame, so we're obviously going to take that minus 14.5. Also a noon game coming up here. We have Miami versus Wake Forest. We are going to be on Miami minus 23.5. Wake Forest's pass defense is absolutely atrocious. They're ranked number 132 out of 134 teams in all of FBS. And Miami has one of the most potent passing attacks in the country. Miami also has very good success on the ground, and Wake Forest is a very average team against the ground. I'm going to be tackling this in the first half. Miami, I believe, minus 13. As well as the full game, 23.5. But if you also want a little extra something, taking Cam Ward over 320 yards passing, even odds, that is another play as well. Rounding up the ATS games, this is my best bet of the week. Colorado versus Kansas. I am going to be riding with the Buffaloes. Buffaloes minus 2.5, now moving up to minus 3. You can find it on 2.5 DraftKings and a lot of other sports books, but 8-2, they're making a push for the playoff. Kansas has played spoiler these last couple weeks, knocking off Iowa State as well as BYU. I think their magical little midseason run is over. Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback in college football. I think he was the clear number one pick coming up for this upcoming draft. I thought that last year people thought I was a little crazy, but I think he's going to go ahead and carry this team all the way to the playoffs. And lastly, we have James Madison versus Appalachian State. Same kind of feel in this game with the Boise State and Wyoming. James Madison just a superior ground and pound team. They've been running all over it. And if you guys have watched Appalachian State earlier in the season, they versed South Alabama and just got run all over. I think James Madison has the same potential here. Appalachian State, they are playing for their lives. If they lose this, they'll be out of bowl contention. I don't think it really matters. 7 or 7.5 points, wherever you can find it, is not going to be enough. James Madison cleans up shop. So next, we're going to move into our must-bet parlay. It's a plus 335 odds. Found it on DraftKings. You can check out whatever sportsbook you guys are a part of, and I will have my friend link down below. You can get up to a $1,000 bonus bet from my referral, so go ahead and use it if you're not already a part of that DraftKings. But the best bet parlay of the week is going to be Ohio State on the money line, James Madison on the money line, Ole Miss versus Florida on the money line, Notre Dame on the money line versus Army, and Miami alt line minus 13.5. All these games we've already discussed besides the Ole Miss game. Ole Miss honestly is just a superior team to Florida. Florida already had their Super Bowl last week against LSU. This is going to be a noon game as well, so not under the lights like last week at that 3:30 spot. And a couple of similar plays here as well. Sticking with the Notre Dame versus Army, I find it extremely unlikely. Like 99 out of 100 times Notre Dame's going to win, maybe even 999 times out of 1,000. But we're also going to be moving that with Alabama money line. We've already discussed them. Michigan plays Northwestern. We're going to be taking them on the money line as well. Northwestern really struggles against the run, and that's all Michigan's offense can do if you consider them doing anything. Michigan's offense honestly has been really bad. Northwestern just doesn't have the athletes, similar to an Army. Right now, they're kind of giving up on the season. New pick, though, Arkansas taking the first half. They're reversing Louisiana Tech. Arkansas really good at running the ball. Again, you're going to see a theme with my picks. Running the ball matters, especially later in the season. If a team doesn't show up to a matchup like they should, running the ball is very consistent. Arkansas does that very well. I'm going to be taking them money line on the first half. And then lastly, we have Boise State alt line minus 13.5. Again, this is just in case Ashton Jeanty gets pulled out in that second half. They struggle to run the ball, which I don't see a way that they do, even with backups in. They're going to be able to run it for 10 yards plus per rush. So lastly, we have the Hail Mary parlay. This is plus 141,000. If you want to tail this is the retirement fund. Everything money line besides Boise State minus 19.5, alt line Colorado minus 2.5, James Madison minus 6.5, Ohio State minus 10, Miami minus 24, and an alt line New Mexico State plus 7.5. Everything else, money line on the board. This is easy money. Lock it up and thank me later. Well, with that said, that is week 13 and all the picks we're going to be making here. Let me know down in the comments below which ones you love, which ones you hate. Am I going to cash? Are we going to cash? You let me know. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.